Have you ever felt like throwing your workbook into the corner because you were too tired? Have you ever thought about giving up because you felt you were not good enough? Before you give up, look at these hands. These are the hands of a child whose fate was written with 2 words, trash. But he used those same hands to rewrite his fate on the sand. Stay until the end, because the secret at the end of this video is the key to changing any destiny, no matter how low your starting point is. This is Arav, a 10-year-old boy living in poor, broken shelters in the Dharavi slum, under the burning heat of Mumbai, while children his age wear clean school uniforms. Arav quietly walks through dirty scrap yards, with a torn sack on his shoulder. His greatest treasure is not the plastic bottles or pieces of metal he collects, but his strong desire to touch knowledge. Even with bare feet, covered in mud and oil, Arav's eyes always shine with a special intelligence. Whenever he stands silently outside the school fence, he does not ask for a piece of bread. He longs for a letter, a calculation, things that are normal to the world, but a luxury dream. In his life, in the maze of rusty metal sheets and damp smells in Dharavi, Arav's life is an endless loop of survival. Every day, he moves through huge scrap yards where the waste of the rich is thrown away, looking for small pieces that still have value. He hopes to earn a few rupees to buy medicine for his mother, who is weak from long painful coughing. Yet, surrounded by poverty, Arav's heart belongs to another world. Every afternoon, he chooses a longer road to pass by an international school at the edge of the city. Just by standing behind an old almond tree and looking through the classroom window, Arav feels like he is touching heaven. He watches the English alphabet on the wall with deep interest, and his small lips quietly repeat each sound after the teacher, as if saying a sacred prayer. To him, these letters are not just words, but a key to escape the life of picking trash. However, harsh reality struck his small dream hard, seeing that the dirty child harmed the image of the luxury school. The principal ordered a thick black curtain and a tall barbed wire fence to cover all the windows. In that moment, the black curtain did not only block his view, but became a wall of fate that stopped his only way of secret learning. Standing before the dark screen, Arav felt the coldness of the world. Even looking at knowledge was a privilege that the poor were not allowed to touch. Standing in the huge scrap yard after the black curtain incident, Arav felt smaller and more hopeless than ever. He tried to study by himself by collecting old torn newspapers, but the strange English words looked like silent codes to him. When he brought a milk carton to ask the scrapyard manager about the meaning of the words printed on it, the man only laughed with contempt and said, "Why do you study? To read menus in luxury restaurants. Just collect 5 kilos of scrap metal. If not, you and your mother will go hungry tonight." Before the pain in his heart could fade, harsh reality struck again. His mother became seriously ill, breathing weakly inside the hot, narrow shelter. To get money for medicine, Arav had to sell his old wooden pencil, the last memory his father left him. That night, under the dim light of an oil lamp, he looked at his hands, dark with oil and rust, while tears fell onto the torn newspapers. The mockery of others and the heavy weight of poverty made his faith shake strongly. A voice appeared in his mind. Maybe they are right. Maybe my fate is only trash. He raised his hand to throw the old newspapers into the fire for warmth, almost letting the flames burn the last dream of his life. On a pale golden afternoon, at a small roadside park, when Arav's heart felt completely broken, he sat silently on the dry ground. By instinct, he picked up a dry branch and carefully drew the English letters he remembered in his mind onto the dusty sand. At that moment, Mr. Abai, a retired old teacher with a face full of deep wise wrinkles, had been watching him for a long time. He did not come closer to give the boy a few coins, like other passers-by. Instead, he quietly watched the rough but determined lines made by the child who picked trash. When Arav tried to erase the letters, out of shame, Mr. Abi stopped him. He took the branch from the boy's hand, drew a big circle around the letters in the sand, and asked, "What do you see?" Inside this circle, Arav answered in confusion, "Sir, it's just dust and sand." The old man smiled, a gentle but powerful smile, and said, "No, this is your world right now. It is small, hot, and full of dust. But if you understand the rule of focus, you can turn this sand into gold. Knowledge, my boy, is not inside beautiful painted walls or silk certificates. It is right under your feet in observation and discipline of the mind." The old man's words were like lightning, clearing the fog in Arav's head. He taught Arav the 1% rule. Do not try to master a whole library in one day, but try to be a little better than yesterday. Instead of hating the black curtain that blocked the classroom, he told the boy to see the whole world as an open book. He taught Arav how to read signs on electric poles, how to count using stacked bricks, and how to value every small piece of paper he found. From that moment, Arav's thinking completely changed. He realized that poverty can lock the body, but it can never chain a mind that always wants to ask questions. He was no longer a poor child picking trash, but a student of life, beginning his journey to turn the sand into the greatest book of his own. For the next 18 months, the Dharavi scrap yard was no longer a place that buried Arav's childhood. It became a huge classroom without walls. By fully applying the 1% rule taught by Mr. Abi, Arav turned every moment of survival into real study time. He no longer picked trash without purpose. He learned math by adding up the weight of each plastic bag, learned chemistry by sorting rusty metal compounds, and learned English by carefully spelling each label on scrap bottles coming from many places. This hard training happened in silence and persistence. Every night, under the weak yellow light of street lamps, Arav used small pieces of charcoal he found to solve difficult calculations on the old walls of the slum. Numbers and letters slowly covered the narrow alleys like a strange language. At first, people around him looked at him with curious eyes, but over time, his slow and steady progress began to show results. Neighbors who could not read came to the trash-picking boy to ask him to read letters from their hometowns or help calculate debts, so they would not be cheated by dealers. Every thank you and every cup of hot tea they gave him became a step that strengthened his belief that he was on the right path. One day, a luxury car suddenly broke down near the scrapyard where Arav was working. While the driver struggled helplessly with the modern engine, Arav calmly walked over and pointed exactly to a blocked part that he had studied carefully from old technical books he had picked up. The car owner, a senior representative of an education fund, was completely amazed when he saw the ragged child explain the engine principles clearly in strong, self-taught English. That fateful meeting led Arav to a special ability test for hidden talents. Standing in front of clean white papers and well-dressed candidates, Arav no longer felt nervous. He realized that whether the tool was a pen or a branch, the real power was in a mind trained through hardship. With nothing left to lose, Arav put his pen down and turned the hard experiences from the scrapyard into sharp answers, ready for a breakthrough that would completely change his life. The surprise of the education fund representative beside the broken car that day became the key that opened the door of Arav's life. Soon after, the trash-picking boy was taken straight to a grand hall in the center of Mumbai to take the final ability test. Bright stage lights shone on Arav, a young man who still had rough, calloused hands, but whose manner now showed unusual confidence and calm. The whole hall fell silent. When the result appeared on the big screen, Arav not only came first in the exam, but also received a prestigious full scholarship from the Indian Institute of Technology and an offer from Harvard University. Loud applause thundered through the hall, but among the crowd, standing in admiration, Arav looked only toward the back seats, where his thin mother was crying with happiness, and Mr. Abi was smiling with deep pride. The people who believed in him when the whole world turned away. This great success did not make Arav forget his roots. Instead, it became the strength to complete his perfect circle of gratitude. He returned to the international school from the past, the place that once put up a black curtain to drive him away. But Arav did not come to blame anyone. He came as a successful education partner, bringing a project to build a community learning center right in this poor area. The most powerful moment came when Arav himself removed the old black curtain, now worn and broken by time. Sunlight poured into the classroom and light up the dirty faces of children waiting outside the fence. He did not only bring books, he also brought belief that every child standing in the dark has the right to see the light of knowledge. Standing on the Mumbai beach and looking toward the distant horizon, Arav understood that circumstances can be a prison, but the mind is the key to escape. His story is not a miracle, but proof of a core philosophy. Do not wait until you have perfect conditions to begin. Begin to create the conditions. Success does not lie in the expensive school you attend, but in persistence in every breath, and a desire that never goes out in the heart. If a trash-picking boy can learn from sand and empty bottles, then there is no reason for you to give up on your goal today. Dear friend, wherever you are, and no matter how low your starting point is, believe that every small effort is helping to build future success. If you promise not to give up and start changing from this moment, leave a comment saying, "I can do it." Don't forget to press like and follow so we can spread positive values and motivate each other on the journey to achieve our dreams. See you at the top of your own success.